Good evening and welcome to Big Future Live. Tonight, you're in for a treat because we're talking all about careers. Yes, your career might feel like a ways away, but believe it or not, it's never too early to start thinking about what jobs are out there and the education you need to reach them. So get those questions ready and welcome to Big Future Live.
Deciding on a career path when you're in high school can feel complicated. Where do you even start? Big Future helps you explore career paths that connect with your passions. Take a short quiz that matches your interests to potential careers. From a video game designer to a registered nurse and everything in between, there are so many careers to explore. You can even create a list of careers that excite you, or watch videos from professionals who work in fields you're interested in. And you'll discover what level of education is recommended, what kind of salary to expect, and what future demand looks like for careers in your field. There are so many options to choose from. So now is the perfect time to get started learning about what's out there. So let us help you explore what interests you, and you can start planning your future your way.
Hey everyone, my name is Greg Rafal. I use he, him pronouns, and I work here on the Big Future team. I'm going to be your host for this evening, and so glad that you all are joining us here for Career Night. I want to thank you all for making some time this evening. We know you're busy. You have classes for our caring adults out there. You might be at work or other things going on, but you decided to spend this next 45 minutes with us, and for that we are very grateful. For those of you who don't know, Big Future Live is a series of virtual community events where you can connect with career experts, college representatives, and your peers to help plan for life after high school. Big Future Live was created so that you can get your questions answered about planning for college, paying for college, and of course, exploring careers. We want to help you plan your future your way. So tonight we have 45 minutes and we don't have a ton of PowerPoint slides that we're going to go over with you. This is really a time for you to get your questions answered by our panel of professionals and peers as well. Today we're joined by a panel of folks who work in marketing and product design and current college students at the Institute for Youth and Policy who are ready to answer your questions about a variety of careers and what you can do now to start exploring those careers. So we hope that you'll take their advice and learnings and apply that to your own career journey. We only have 45 minutes today, and I can see that we have a good amount of people who are joining. So let's go ahead and get started and meet our guests for today. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome. So glad you're here. We'll start off with some introductions. I want to go around and just ask you to tell us your name, what you do, and or where you go to school. And just to get our users started on the other end, give us one word, just one, that describes career exploration. What comes to mind for you? And Tama, we're going to start with you.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Tama Menace. I am on the Big Future team. I do student marketing. So what that means is a lot of different things for different companies. But for me, that means writing a lot of different email, text, and content for social media. I use she, her pronouns. And I think, Greg, the last question was what is one word to describe career exploration. And The first word, honestly, that came to mind was messy. So I'm excited to dive in more into this conversation.
Awesome. I love it. I love it, Tama. Messy, that's a good one. I'm sure we'll revisit that one later. And Molly, what about you?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Molly. I use she, her pronouns. I'm currently a junior at Northwestern University, where I'm majoring in philosophy with minors in legal studies and political science. And I'm also the senior vice president of education at the Institute for Youth and Policy, where I oversee a team of about 50 high school and college students working on a number of exciting initiatives related to depolarizing politics through civics education. And the first word that came to mind for me regarding career exploration would be process.
Process. I love it. I feel like we're creating a sentence already. So far, your messy process. No, just kidding. But we'll get more on that later. And Molly, looking forward to hearing more about the Institute for Youth and Policy, or YIP, later in today's conversation. So thanks for being here. Susan, I'm going to go over to you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Susan Salinas. I use she, her pronouns. I am a lead product designer for the Big Future student team. And one word to describe career exploration should be flexible.
Flexible. I love it. Good word, Susan. Thanks for being here today. And Mahika, what about you?
My name is Mihika. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a first-year student at the London School of Economics currently, and I'm also with the Youth and Policy Institute, where I'm the Assistant Vice President of Education Department. And I would say that one word that can truly describe career exploration for me is passion.
I love that one, Mahika, and I hope to hear about maybe some of your passions today during our conversation. Thanks for being here. And last but certainly not least, Isabel.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sweet. Okay, hi, I'm Isabel. I'm a freshman at University of Southern California, and I'm studying computer science and business administration. And at the Institute for Youth and Policy, I'm the Director of Education Research Analytics, and where I lead research and data analytics teams. And one word that comes to mind regarding career exploration is diverse.
Diverse. Awesome. We have some really good words here. Diverse, passion, flexible, process, messy. So users, keep those in mind as you're thinking about your questions, because I want to hear more about where these words are coming from. Well, thank you all for being here. I know you have a ton of advice to share and can't wait to dive in. But today's really all about questions from students and caring adults who are on the other side of this camera. But before we get to those questions, I'd love to know what students at home, caring adults at home, what do you want to learn about today? You're going to see a quick poll pop up on your screen. Tell us, what are you most interested in hearing about today? Do you want to know about all the people on our screen here, about their career paths or how they got to what they're studying? Do you want to know just how to start exploring careers and some of the tools that we have there? Or are you really interested in like specifics about careers in policy or marketing or design? Let us know by answering that quick poll. And while you're doing that, let's talk just a little bit about how tonight will work. On your screen, you'll see an Ask a Question box on the bottom, somewhere around down here. That's where you can type in your questions. Now, Big Future Live is all about getting your questions answered, so please don't be shy. We have folks on the back end on the Big Future team who are actually monitoring all the questions that are coming in, and they're going to get to as many as possible. Also, if you miss anything during today's event, you have to walk away from your computer, your phone, or tablet for a moment. Don't worry at all. The recording is going to be available later at bigfuture.org/live. And we're starting to see some of these results come in, and it looks like most of you are really interested in learning about what you can do now to start exploring careers, which is great because I'm pretty sure that folks on our screen here are going to touch on some of the tools that you can use, but also how they started their own careers. So whatever you answered to that poll, just know that you are in the right place. And time is flying by already. We're already 10 minutes in. Let's get to some of these questions. Panelists, are you all ready? Awesome. Awesome. Let's jump right in. So our first question is going to be for you, Molly. And this question is from Coralie S. How do you find the balance between your interests and skills while deciding your career?
Yeah, that's a really good question. In my opinion, and based on my experience, I would start with your interests. Kind of find what excites you, what interests you the most, what really motivates you. And then from there, maybe see how your skills fit into it. For me, I was always really interested in different policy issues, especially criminal justice related issues. And from there, I kind of used that as a background, as a starting point to figure out what specific job I wanted to do with that. So I think one of the tough things about career exploration is the idea that you have to know what job you want in order to know what you want to do with your career. But especially still in high school, I think it's so important to start with your interests and what really gets you excited. And then from there, the rest will kind of take care of itself in terms of applying the skills that you have and figuring out how that will translate into a job and a career path.
That's great, Molly. I think that's great advice. Really to start with what interests you. And that takes some reflection on a student's end. Just kind of sitting down and saying, all right, what do I enjoy? And that will kind of get, hopefully, the juices flowing. Thanks for that question, Coralie, and great response, Molly. Great advice. The next question is going to be for you, Susan. And this is from Star Leslie O. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing the name correctly, but I do like the name Star Leslie. They want to know, how do I look for careers that best suit me? What do you think, Susan?
Well, to build off of what Molly just said, it really starts with your interest and your skills. And I think the best way to start is to get to know yourself a little bit. Try to really look inside and see, what are the things that I enjoy doing? What are the things that I see other people doing that might interest me? Like, maybe you see someone do a specific job and you say, oh, that kind of looks fun, or that's something that I would like. Do you like to talk to people? Do you like to sort of work on your own? What kind of things feel more natural to you? And if you don't know where to start, or if you are having a little bit of an issue of getting those things started, you can go to Big Future and take the career quiz. It's a really great tool because it asks you some really seemingly random questions, but what it's trying to get to is to those answers of like, what are the things that I like to do and what are the things that I absolutely hate? For example, I don't like math. And that's something that was very clear from the beginning. Did that mean that I definitely steer away from everything that was data related? Not really. But that was a good starting point for me. I lean more towards the arts. I lean more towards talking to people, something that was a little bit more social. And when I took my career quiz, it actually reflected that. So that will give you like a good head start on just discovering careers that you might not even know about.
That is a great advice, Susan, and a really great segue to learning more about your interest on Big Future. So as Susan said, if you're unsure what you want to do, one way to start exploring is through the Big Future career quiz. What I like most about it is that it's super quick. It takes less than 10 minutes to complete, and it asks you questions about, guess what, your interests and what you like to do. So after you take this quiz, you'll actually get a list of 30 potential career profiles that you can explore. And it's not telling you that you have to go into these careers. They're just potential ideas of careers that maybe you haven't heard of before. And you can see things like income, how much money you might make, projected job growth, most common education levels, what kind of education will you need to get a career like that. You'll also see the task, knowledge, and skills associated with a career. So if you not sure exactly what something is just by looking at the title, you can actually see what you'll need to know, what you'll need to do, and skills you'll need to hone in order to do the job. You can also save careers to your career list to track kind of what you're interested in, so that you can reference that later. And for students who are 11th and 12th graders, when you save 3 or more of those careers to your career list on Big Future, you can also qualify for Big Future scholarships. So you can qualify for $500 and $40,000 scholarships. All you need to do is save 3 of those careers to your list. 10th graders, you're not eligible yet, but starting on December 4th, Big Future scholarships will open to 10th graders. So mark your calendars, less than a month to go, and you can also start your list and qualify. To get started, you can go to bigfuture.org/career quiz, or to make it even easier, you can actually scan the QR code on your screen here. to take you to the quiz. And if you want, you could take the quiz right now while we're going through this conversation. It might spark even more questions. Before we get too far along, I know we're talking about the Big Future scholarships. Isabel, I want to call on you for a second. We said that if students add 3 or more careers to the list, they qualify for Big Future scholarships. If I'm not mistaken, I think you won a Big Future scholarship. Tell us about that and what effect you got on your
Yeah, so I did win a Big Future scholarship. I won it in my junior year of high school, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it's really valuable, the steps that you have to do in the Big Future platform, from like college and career planning. Like it helped me build my college list, helped me look at careers. I did the quizzes. I looked at colleges that'd be like good fits for me and like different ranges, like safety, reaches, matches. And like, I think it's so valuable what it has. And I think the Big Future scholarship, I think it really helps you. It feels like it goes towards my tuition, and it really, like, college is expensive and any little money can help. And I'm so appreciative towards Big Future, and those steps help you prepare for your college and career readiness in ways that like help me actualize it, and like didn't seem so scary or too far off, that it helped me create an actual plan. So yeah.
That's great, Isabel. And we look forward to hearing more about kind of your path and how that plan is coming together in a moment when we get some more of these questions. Back to some of our questions from our students and caring adults. This next one is for Mahika. Mahika, this is from Anize L. Anize wants to know, when you graduate high school, how long of a wait or break should you take before going to college? What do you think, Mahika?
Yeah, so I think that's a really great question. And I think the answer is that it depends. It depends on what you're interested in pursuing. It depends on what you personally think is right for you. I don't think there's any one right answer. It can often be based on what type of career you're looking for in the future. For example, if you think you're going to go to law school or med school, that's quite a lot of years of schooling. So you might want to just get straight into it so you can be done sooner. But you might also choose to take a gap year just to travel or discover more about yourself before committing to a specific major or specific college. So I think any path is valid, and just whatever you feel is right for you is absolutely right. And you can also change your mind. You can always start spring semester if you want to just take like a single semester off. So there's really no limits to what path you can choose to take. And I really recommend just exploring all the options before committing to anyone.
Mahika, I think that's really, really great advice. And I think it's what a lot of students need to hear, is that there are multiple pathways out there. There are multiple ways to getting to your dream job and to your passion. And that could be going to a 4-year degree right after high school, or it could mean, taking time to figure out what you really want to do. It could mean getting a certificate in something. It could mean going to community college, to trade school, to military. There's a lot of different pathways out there. So I don't know if that was the answer you were looking for, Anize, but just know that there are a lot of different pathways out there. And what we can do is help you to inform yourself so that you're making the right choice for you. But let's continue with some of these questions. Our next question is for you, Molly, and this is from Patrick R. Patrick asks, can you tell us what the Institute for Youth and Policy is, or YIP? So Molly, there's a slide showing on the screen now for our audience, but would love for you to tell us a little bit more about the Institute for Youth and Policy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with the Institute for Youth and Policy for about 2 years now. We are a nonpartisan political nonprofit, entirely student-run, all high school and college students. And we were kind of founded with the idea of re-engaging students in politics through more open political discussion. So we really want to teach students about the most important issues that face our world today from a nonpartisan, very respectful perspective. But on top of that, also teaching students to engage in those issues and in those different perspectives in a productive, open-minded way. So one of the initiatives that we've taken towards that through the department that I oversee, our education department, we have developed a nonpartisan high school civics curriculum that we're working to implement in physical high school classrooms and that we've already started implementing through workshops with students like you, where you have a chance to discuss and learn about some really critical issues today and hear from students all around the world. So that civics education angle is kind of how my team, me, Mihika, Isabel, and about 50 others tackle political polarization today. And also relevant for you, as you can see on your screen, there are a lot of ways to collaborate with us. We're very community oriented. We work with students in a lot of different capacities. So your leadership and your feedback is really valuable. Obviously, we're a student organization, so students' insights are really critical for us. So if you're interested in education, politics, or just learning more about us, absolutely feel free to reach out. We'd love to connect more. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Molly. It's great to hear about the awesome work that YIP is doing, and also the experiences that you, Mihika, and Isabel are getting to power your future career as well. So thanks so much for sharing more. Students on the other end, if you're interested in learning more about YIP, scan that QR code on your screen, and we'll get you in touch. So back to some of the questions from our audience here. Our next one is going to be for you, Tema. Mena O wants to know, what is marketing? That's a great question, Mena. Tema, tell us what you think. And I think it'd also be helpful to know a little bit about how you got to your current job in marketing too.
Absolutely. So I was kind of laughing to myself because, Mena, you ask a really loaded question. Marketing is a lot of different things. There's a lot of different types of marketing, from email marketing to content marketing. Social media marketing is probably something that we're all well aware of on this call. I do social media marketing and email marketing. I also do a type of marketing that's called growth marketing. So the majority of what I focus on is acquiring new users to our site. I do a little bit of re-engagement. So students that have already engaged with Big Future, or maybe have created a college list or taken the career quiz one time, I try to get them to come back to the site and maybe qualify for Big Future scholarships and win a scholarship like Isabel. And the way that I do that is through my role, trying to really connect with Gen Z and soon Gen Alpha. And Greg mentioned a little bit about how I got started at the College Board. But I actually had the opportunity to intern in the marketing department at the College Board. Before it was the Big Future marketing team. Back in the day, it was just the official SAT practice. So I'm going to say that was a little bit less fun to market than maybe a career quiz and a college list. But free SAT practice is super fun to market too. But yeah, it's been a really great journey going from intern to full-time staff and being able to help other people that are just starting out in their journey.
Awesome. That's great, Tema. And thanks for that question, Mena. Tema, it's great to hear about, one, how broad marketing could be, right? So you work in marketing related to Big Future and College Board, but if folks have interests in other areas, like they could also do marketing for any type of company in any sort of industry. And that just shows you how some of your interests can really overlap with each other in different roles and different positions. So it does take a lot of exploration to find where your passion may lie. So great hearing about your background, Tema. Appreciate it. Our next question is going to be for you, Susan. And this is from William H. William H. wants to know, you have a significant number of people in technical and social jobs. What would you recommend for those interested in trades?
That's really great. I would say if you have found something, a skill that you enjoyed and that you are certain that's something that you want to do, that's certainly a reliable and a really great accessible way to get started on a great career. I would say research and check out your options. You can go, there's ways, and you can go directly into apprenticeships. and then get some sort of credit for that, and that will get you started in your career. You can also go to technical schools or community schools that offer those programs. So there is a lot of flexibility on those, and it is, I would say, a very stable and amazing choice. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add.
Yeah, that's great, Susan. I'll add a little bit more there too. You can actually, here at Big Future, we know that everyone's pathway to life after high school is going to be different. And we're not here to tell you, what exactly you should be doing after you graduate from high school, but we are here to tell you that there are multiple different pathways to success. And as Susan said, that could be a four-year degree, that could be a trade school, that could be getting your associate's degree or a certificate in something else. But we want to build more resources to help you explore. So if you go to Big Future, we have a page called Multiple Pathways to Success, where you can take the career quiz again and explore all the different career profiles, of which we have over 1,000. But then also we have other resources to help you think about what your next step after high school could look like. Again, it could be four-year college, it could be two-year college, it could be an apprenticeship or something else. You can watch some videos to help you kind of determine or define what that looks like for you. We also have several articles as well to help you explore further your college options or even additional career insights. So head to Big Future. Again, this is called the Multiple Pathways Hub to help you kind of weigh some of those decisions. And let's get back to some more questions from our audience here. Our next question is going to be for you, Isabel, and this is from Jill. Jill says, Isabel, I've heard that career paths from computer science remain uncertain. I've been interested in this major, but I'm not sure what area to take that knowledge or what jobs I could get or how far I should take that education. So basically, I think what Jill wants to know is tell us more about why you wanted to major in computer science and maybe some of the other like job aspirations or opportunities that you think are out there. What do you say, Isabel?
Yeah, hi. Yeah. As I'm actually a computer science and business major, so I think in regards to that question, there's a lot of paths in computer science. I think computer science, people might think it's like only software engineering or SWE, but there's actually, computer science is very interdisciplinary in the sense that there's so many things you can do with it. Like I'm a CS and business major and I'm looking into getting into like product management, even like going into law and looking at like AI policy, tech policy, having that technical background. CS may not only, with a CS major, you're not limited to being like a software engineer or a coder. You can have a lot of opportunities and there's so many fields, and getting that engineering degree and background and thought process can lead into like even like going into consulting, technical consulting. So there's so many career paths that a CS degree can provide. So I would just recommend if you're interested in CS, go take classes in high school. Like I took AP Computer Science A and Principles, and to help you kind of see that I really liked CS. And then so I'm majoring in it. And there's so many, and then once you're in college, you can see all the ways that a CS degree can take you. And it's not limited to being only a software engineer.
That's great. Great advice, Isabel. And it also shows, I hope, students on the other end that, you can combine majors too. And, a lot of different areas and interests can overlap. So that's why it's just so important to explore all the different opportunities, explore those career profiles, see exactly what you'd be doing in some of these jobs and some of the skills that maybe you didn't know you had. Our next question is going to be for you, Tema, and this is from Haya Z. Haya, this is a great question. What happens if I don't like my job?
That is such a fun question. You can change your job. That's what's really exciting about, honestly, everything in life. Earlier, when asked, Greg asked us like what as one word to describe career exploration, and I said messy. And my career path hasn't necessarily been messy. I'm pretty young in my career journey, and I'm really fortunate for that. But I have jumped around to a bunch of different things, whether it be changing my major about 3 times, studying something different in grad school, and now doing marketing, which is not something that I went to school for in undergrad or grad school. So there's a lot of different options in life, and really it's what Mahika said earlier about following your passion and what Susan said about following your interests. So it's kind of finding like the perfect collision of those things. But yeah, if you don't like your job, you can leave it. There's lots and lots of jobs. There's lots of companies looking for people that are passionate and want to work hard. So yeah, you can find what you're looking for sure.
That's great advice, Tama. And Susan, I'd love to hear from you too. I know that your career path has changed. And yeah, tell us more about it.
Definitely. I would definitely say that my career path was not linear, which is why I feel so connected and so passionate about Big Future's mission of supporting that path that's very unique to you. I also changed my major a couple of times. I moved to New York when I was 18 from Guatemala, and I was really financially driven because of my circumstances. And therefore, I heard somebody say that a career in health would be profitable. And I wasn't too scared about the work or the workload. I knew that I was a good student, and I knew that I liked working with people. So I went for it, and I did all my pre-med requisites. And when I came to actually transferring to the physician assistant school, I realized this might not be it for me. The schedule didn't meet my needs. I wasn't able to make things work. I wasn't emotionally prepared to be in that kind of role, even though I had the skills, like the hard skills for it. I didn't see myself in there. So I pivoted. I went back to my counselor and I said, I don't think this is something that I want to do. What can I do with the credits that I already have? So then they were able to guide me. I went back to my initial passion, which was design or anything art related. I finished my associates and moved to another college. I took a little bit of a break because I needed to work to be able to finance my studies. So I did that. I took night classes and weekend classes, and I did all of that. So all of that with the goal of one day working in a creative field. My first, I guess, real job was in an agency, and I was an intern, and then a junior designer, and then a designer, and then it moved up from there. And I was working in advertising with just creating big 360 creative campaigns and platforms for branding. And then the pandemic hit, and a lot of things changed. I became a mother, and the world was upside down, and that also allowed me to take a break and realize, is this really what I want to do? Maybe, maybe not. The opportunity presented itself for me to use my skills as a product designer. And it was slightly intimidated because it wasn't what I was trained to do, and it wasn't what I had experience at. But I was able to see that the kinds of things that the job required for me to do were essentially the same things that I was already doing in other positions. So while I didn't have the requirements on paper, I had the skills, and I enjoyed the work to be able to perform what I do now. So yeah, change is always a possibility, which is why my word was being flexible. And it really is good news. If there's something that you don't like, there's possibilities for something new.
That's great, Susan. I think that brings us back to one of the words that we just started the conversation with, which is flexible. And as you said, your career path isn't always linear, so you do have to be flexible and think about, other passions, to touch on another word, that you can make a career out of too. While we're talking about kind of like skills and passions and finding careers, I do want to touch on one other tool on Big Future, which is now our career insights. So many of you, or maybe some of you, may have gotten your PSAT scores today. So though Big Future Career Insights can show you now now Big Future Career Insights can show you how your skills based on the SAT score, so your skills in math, reading, and writing, we can show you how those align to typical demands of a career on any of our 1,000 career profiles. So with some of our career insights, you can actually understand where your academic skills are today and how they might map onto a career that you might be interested in and what you need to do to prepare for those careers in the future. So if you go to our career search tool and look at some of these career profiles, you're going to see some really interesting information on income and hiring, education, task knowledge and skills, what I touched on earlier, but also career insights. And I just pulled up one related to marketing because Tama was talking about her marketing career earlier, and want to show you what that looks like. So if you have a PSAT or SAT score, you'll see here on the bottom a career insights section, and it'll tell you either, we'll see the following descriptors. Either you're in line and it's a strong option, in line and continue exploring, or continue preparing. And you'll also see a message on what you can do next. So here's an example of what I might see if I was looking at a career in marketing as well. So another tool for you to help assess types of careers that you might be interested in and how your current academics and skills might align with those careers too. We have a few moments, so let's get to as many questions as we can in the next few minutes here. Our next question is going to be for you, Mahika. This is from Maria S. And Maria wants to know, how do I know what I want to major in or what I like?
So to answer this, I think I'll go back to my original word for what I think career exploration is, which was passion. So I think that ultimately what you want to major in or what you like comes out of what you're passionate about. And even if you don't know at the moment, I think just taking time to understand yourself, to just explore the world a bit more, look into more possibilities, look into all the different types of major career options that are available to you, you can discover what you're interested in. And it can also stem from the activities that you're involved in. For example, I considered a lot of different things. I was interested in an English major, anthropology, journalism, all sorts of things over the course of many, many years. And then ultimately, I'm now studying politics and philosophy, which is right for me, which I just discovered based on my involvement in organizations such as YIP, actually, where I discovered that policy and politics are something I'm really interested in engaging with. And then philosophy, because I was really interested in debate, and also in my English classes, whenever we had discussions, I noticed philosophical discussions were what interested me most. So you can really find what you want to major in out of seemingly like the most random places. Like Socratic seminars in your English class can tell you what you want to study. So I would say just stay open to all possibilities and understand that even if you're majoring in something, it doesn't necessarily mean you're limited to a specific career. Even from one major, you have a range of different options that are open to you in the future.
Great answer, Mahika. I think that goes back to, I think a point that we're trying to get out in this whole conversation is that there are so many opportunities out there, and you have time to explore them with the help of Big Future and other folks around you. Our next question is going to be for you, Molly, and this is from Natalie A. Natalie A wants to know, are you at all considering the influence of AI in your career paths? If so, then how do you think it may influence your areas of study? And so Molly, I'll give that to you, and then maybe Isabel, you can follow up on that too.
Yeah, that's a great question because AI obviously is influencing so many different aspects of our lives, so many different career paths. Speaking to my own experience, it hasn't necessarily changed my plan. Because I think what it shows is some aspects of our world that are changing very quickly, but also some things that aren't changing. So for example, one of the reasons I'm interested in policy in law is the chance to interact with people, to represent people, to advocate for communities, things like that. And that's something that AI can't necessarily replace. And it's something that I think will always be needed in any career, really. so that motivation, that has kept me kind of on the same path, even in a very rapidly changing world. But I think also Isabel can speak a little bit to maybe how AI does have an influence. If you want to jump in, Isabel.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm a computer science and business major, but I have a huge love for policy and law. And I think finding the intersection between those three fields, I think it's very easy when you see the field of AI. So I have considered the influence of AI in the sense that maybe going to AI policy and tech policy, because those are very important, and having like a technical and business background along with a love for law and policy, I think is very valuable when coming to this seeing how AI is rapidly changing and advancing. And you really need people who love all those three facets. So even though you might like love you might love like a million things, there's probably a way that you can intersect it. And I think AI is an example of how like I found my intersection between my interests. And I think, that's how I found my intersection through AI policy.
Awesome. Isabel, thank you. Molly, thank you both for those answers and that advice. And Natalie, great question about AI. I'm looking at the clock and I can't believe how much time has passed already. These events always go by so quickly, but I do want to get to our one last question. And this one is going to be pretty rapid fire for our panelists here. I'd like to know from each of you, what's one thing you wish you knew as a high school student about your career exploration? And this almost hits on like how we started the conversation too. So feel free to elaborate on your one word if you want to, but we'll just go rapid fire down the line. One thing that you wish you knew as a high school student about career exploration. Tama, we'll start with you.
I think I have to bring it full circle and go back to my original answer of messy. And I feel like I need to like elaborate on that a little bit more and give a little bit more context. So Greg, can you repeat the original question one more time?
Sure. What's one thing you wish you knew as a high school student about career?
I wanted to clarify that if it was high school or college.
Yeah.
One thing that I wish I knew specifically as a high school student is that, and Mahika, I hope I'm not stealing your thunder early, but that it's okay for you just to pursue what you're interested in. I feel really fortunate to have done that both with my undergrad, grad, and then now my career. But my undergraduate studies were in Native American studies and history. So that was definitely a passion in community studies type of program. And then my graduate program was focused on curriculum development and culturally sustaining curriculum, which is obviously very different than marketing and marketing within education. But all of those things have a connection to connecting a broader community with resources that might not have existed always, and bridge community spaces that I am both a part of. And so I think just one piece of advice that I wish I knew is that it's definitely okay. And there's always going to be a job that will catch you with your different skills that you've learned in a variety of fields. But yeah, that it's okay for things to be messy.
That's great, Tama. It's okay for things to be messy. I hope everyone hears that loud and clear. We're going to go rapid fire because we are running low on time here. But Molly, what about you?
I would say, also building on my original answer, the importance of trying new things. I wish I had known in high school to just try different clubs, different electives, different internships, because I've really found that it's the opportunities that you least expect that will inspire you the most.
That's great, Molly. Try new things. Mahika, over to you.
The main thing I would say is that there's no limit to how deeply you can get involved with a specific thing that you're passionate about, even as a high school student. So, like, if you're interested in filmmaking, you can make a student film. If you're interested in policy, you can self-study or do research of your own. There's really no limits to how far you can get involved. So don't let age be a limiting factor for yourself.
The limit does not exist, right, Mahika? Susan, what about you?
You do not have to have everything figured out. allow yourself to find the answer as you go. There's a lot of skills that I learned studying sciences that have helped me tremendously at the creative field that I'm in. So you never know what you're going to learn.
That's great, Susan. And last but not least, Isabel.
Yeah, so I would circle back to my word of diverse. I think that like you might be interested in a million things, and don't let that scare you, that you may not have a single major in mind or a single career in mind. Explore all of that and you'll see where maybe you can intersect or where it takes you.
Awesome. I love how this conversation has really become full circle from how we started. Thank you all so much for sharing the advice and answering so many questions. And thank you to our audience for joining today. We hope that you found this conversation valuable. And we'd love to hear how today's session went. After your event window closes, you're going to be automatically redirected to a feedback survey. Please complete it. It takes like 2 minutes to complete, and it really helps us and helps you to make these events even better in the future. And if you missed anything during today's event, don't worry. You can log back in and see the recording and also register for other Big Future Live events at bigfuture.org/live. Thank you again to our panelists. Thank you to all of our students and caring adults joining us, and have a great night.